Welcome everybody to a look at a brand new 4K release from Criterion, via the Criterion collection, and it is a double feature of two Val Lewton produced films, and they are I Walked with a Zombie and The Seventh Victim. So both of these were released in 1943. So Val Lewton was quite a prolific producer of horror films in the 40s, but the films that he produced that aren't going to be talked about today, as far as the directors of these two films are concerned, are the likes of The Body Snatcher and The Curse of the Cat People. So yeah, and both of these films also star Tom Conway, who was also in Cat People and The She Creature. So yeah, the first film, I Walked with a Zombie, was directed by Jacques Tournier, who also, alongside Val Lewton, did Cat People and The Leopard Man. But outside of his work with Val Lewton, he also did The Out of the Past and Night of the Demon. So this film clocks in at 69 minutes long, stars James Ellison, who was in The Undying Monster, Francis D, who was in Because of You, and it's about a nurse in the Caribbean who turns to voodoo in hopes of curing her patient, who is a mindless woman whose husband she's fallen in love with. So this is overall a solid effort at a horror film, but unfortunately not one that managed to impress nor excite me as much as I hoped. However, it was more than enjoyable enough, while it really doesn't outstay its welcome at such a short running time. That said, the pacing is also on point, the cast is good, it has more thematic weight to it than I expected. The plot is engrossing and it is well shot. And while considering it is set in the Caribbean, it could have been a lot more problematic, given a lot of films from this period, especially in the 30s, when it comes to horror films, were quite racist in their depiction of people from other countries, and that isn't really the case for this film. So, yeah, overall solid, 3.5 out of 5, but yeah, not as great as some other Val Lewton produced films. And then finally, we have The Seventh Victim. This is directed by Mark Robson, who also, alongside Val Lewton, did Bedlam, The Ghost Ship, and Isle of the Dead. And he also did, outside of Val Lewton produced films, the likes of The Harder They Fall, Champion, and Von Ryan's Express. So this clocks in at 71 minutes long. Stars the likes of Kim Hunter, who was in three of the original Planet of the Apes films. The original one, the first of them, being the most well-known one. And yeah, also she was in Deadline USA alongside Humphrey Bogart. Also stars Jean Brooks, who was in The Leopard Man. So a woman in search of her missing sister uncovers a satanic cult in New York's Greenwich Village, and finds that they could have something to do with her siblings' random disappearance. So although this isn't a horror film in the the strictest sense, given there's no ghouls or ghosts in this, although there is some satanic elements to it, it does deal with very real fears while having an engaging mystery as a base to have those themes hang off. The cast is also really good. The pacing is on point. There is some really rather good noirish cinematography, which lends itself really well to both the horror and mystery aspects of the plot. It is engrossing throughout, and the ending is surprisingly dark for a mainstream film at the time, especially given films of the time were under the Hays Code, and somehow it gets away with that. And yeah, it's all the better for it. 4 out of 5, definitely my favourite out of the two, and ranks right alongside my favourite films produced by Val Lewton. So, yeah, really rather interesting double feature. This, I don't know if Criterion are well known for doing double features. I've not, got all of their catalogue, and I've not followed them for the longest of times. But yeah, it's a really interesting double feature. Uh, 4K disc is at the front, Blu-ray is at the back. I wouldn't say the 4K is essential to get. Does look really good, but I imagine the Blu-ray isn't far off of how it looks in comparison. We also get a booklet with this as well, so it has each film on either side, but the writing is different ways up, so to separate the two. So inside the I Walked with a Zombie one, you get your cast and your crew. Then we get Better Doctors by Chris Fujiwara. And then about the masters, so both of these films are presented in the aspect ratio of 1:37:1. New 4K restorations were created from the 35mm nitrate original camera negatives. The negative of The Seventh Victim had large amounts of mold throughout. Digital restoration helped mitigate the damage, but there is still some mold residue present in the picture. I didn't really notice it, to be honest. I was so engrossed in the film. And the original monaural soundtracks were remastered from a 35mm safety composite fine grain for I Walk with a Zombie, and a 35mm original soundtrack positive for The Seventh Victim. And yeah, in terms of the seventh victim, again, we've got your cast and your crew. And we've also got The Inner Darkness by Lucy Sante. So yeah, looks like a really rather nice booklet, that one. And then, like I said, we've got new 4K digital restorations of both the films, along with uncompressed monaural soundtracks. We've got audio commentary on I Walk with a Zombie featuring authors Kim Newman and Stephen Jones. Audio commentary on The Seventh Victim featuring film historian Steve Haberman. Interview with film historian Imogen Sarah Smith. Audio essays from Adam Roach's podcast, The Secret History of Hollywood, featuring stories about the cast, crews, and productions of both films. And then we've got Shadows in the Dark, The Val Lewton Legacy, a 2005 documentary featuring Newman, Val E. Lewton, son of producer Val Lewton, and filmmakers William Friedkin, Guillermo del Toro, George A. Romero, John Landis, and Robert Wise, as well as actor Sarah Karloff and others. I'll be definitely watching that at some point. And then we've got excerpts from the origins of the zombie from Haiti to the USA, an episode of the PBS series Monstrum, which is hosted by scholar Emily Zarka, and then we've got trailers, and then we've got new English subtitles as well. So, yeah, overall, a really, really excellent release. Not the two of the best horror films I've ever seen in my life, but definitely two ones that are well worth watching. And if you are into your Val Lewton films, like I certainly am, then yeah, you will get enjoyment out of this. And yeah, principally also got it because, like I said, I am a fan of Val Lewton, and I own several of his films. I own Cat People, as well as Bedlam, Ghost Ship, and Isle of the Dead. So it's nice to have these two alongside all of those. But if you haven't seen it, then yeah, I do recommend it. But if you have, I'd like to hear your thoughts on both of the films. Nonetheless, so thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.